So I was doing the dishes the other day, and I don't normally watch WWE, but I had a lot of dishes to do, so I put the main event of the Elimination Chamber on, and it was a pretty good match. I used to love watching wrestling when I was a kid, and we get to the end of the match, and John Cena wins, and he's in the ring hugging Cody Rhodes, and The Rock gives him the signal, and then he finally turns heel after all these years, and starts pounding away on Cody Rhodes. And it was a brilliantly done heel turn. I didn't see it coming. Nobody saw it coming. It was really well done, and the best part about it is that there was no hints at all. They didn't take any chances with it, and that's the best part about it, because so many heel turns in wrestling, you can sort of, if you know what to look for, you can kind of see it coming. You can see the writing on the wall. But the WWE made sure that we couldn't see any of it coming, and it was really well done. And then the segment goes on, and we see this Travis Scott guy in the ring, and I couldn't possibly name a Travis Scott song. I know he's a rapper, because the WWE told me he is. I'm from the UK, and I could not tell you a Travis Scott song. I have no idea. I probably couldn't even pick his face out in a crowd now. And he takes this massive shot at Cody Rhodes. He pins his head down on the mat as Cody is being held by John Cena. And he slaps him square across the face while Cody's head is pinned to the mat. And this guy, and I didn't see it at the time. We only saw this from the other angle that we saw on the internet, the fan camera, the fan recording of this, and it was a pretty brutal slap. You definitely wouldn't find another wrestler doing that to another wrestler. And I remember just thinking, this Travis Scott guy is a complete moron. He has no common sense, not even knowledge of the business. That'd be going way too far, but he doesn't even have any common sense. I mean, this reminds me of when I went to see a wrestling show when I was younger, about 10 years old, and we all lined up for pictures with the wrestlers after the show, and we'd get in the ring and take pictures. And there was this man who was in front of us, who was a fully grown man, but he had like the brain of a child. He had some form of learning disability. I couldn't tell you what the disability was, but it was something that required him to have constant supervision from either a care worker or his parents who were there at the time. And so when he gets into the ring, he takes his shirt off and starts trying to wrestle the wrestlers because he thinks that it's real. He can't comprehend the fact that it's a performance. And Travis Scott reminds me of something like that, where, you know, he's just completely in his own world. He's in his own bubble where he completely forgets, you know, what he's doing and what the situation is. And obviously he knows that wrestling isn't real, but how can you not? It's hard to argue, right? I mean, it's one of those where it's like, how do you explain that, you know, other than the fact that he just has no class, no ethics, no common sense. He's probably never been in a fight before. He's probably never been in a situation where he's been close to being in a fight before. And you know, I'm sure Cody Rhodes isn't going to complain about this. I'm sure Cody Rhodes is going to be a massive gentleman about it, because he has been about most things in the past, right? He's been pretty cool. He's never been known to kick off with people, really. And Travis Scott shouldn't be anywhere near a wrestling ring or even a camera for that matter. I don't understand what value he was adding to the show to have him there in the first place, regardless of him doing this. I mean, were any fans cheering for Travis Scott? Was anybody? Did anybody pay a ticket to see Travis Scott walk around with a blunt or whatever it was he was holding, sage or whatever it was he said it was? Does anybody care about? I mean, I don't understand what the point is of having him there is. I mean, he's just stood there like a child, dancing around, flapping his arms around. He looks bunged off his head, He looks more stoned than Jeff Hardy did at Victory Road. I think even regardless of what he did, I think his presence needs to be questioned. And I think unless you're going to do something with this and make an angle out of it, where you have him appear alongside John Cena, and maybe there's a payoff where we see Travis Scott get beaten up or something, but even still, he's done something that's dangerous. He's taken things too far. He's acted out of line, massively out of line, and it shouldn't have happened. And the fact that it did happen, for all intents and purposes, should be enough to make the powers that be say, okay, let's end this Travis Scott experiment, and let's listen to the people. They've been notorious for listening to people lately. Let's just quietly cut ties with this Travis Scott, because the fans have made it clear that they don't want him anywhere near the product. And now they have reasonable grounds to say, okay, you did this. For every action, there's a reaction. And hopefully, the reaction is, we never have to see him again.